Hello, I'm Luna and I'd like to welcome you to my little shop of spirit. Today's reading was totally unplanned. I actually had pre-recorded readings I was just planning on editing today and releasing, but this message is coming through so strongly that I decided to record spontaneously and get it out to you guys today. So I've already had a couple of messages come through. First of all, some unusual things for me about my days. I had coffee this morning and I had a banana for breakfast. And so the energy that's coming through for me immediately is just like an action and energy, and also like a playfulness. And let me see, something else. It's been a minute since I spent quite a few moments setting up, so I've been away from what I channeled for a moment, but also in just a meditative state that I was in. So after I had this energy like visit me randomly, and I just surrendered to it once it came to me, and so I went to it, or rather I let it come to me. And when it first arrived to me, I felt like I was washed in this golden light, and then in a moment's notice it tinged to a blue, and this figure interrupted this process, and it was all black, and it was really aggressive, and it had red eyes, and it was moving its mouth like it was yelling. And how it came to me is it just appeared out of nowhere, and it appeared from the horizon and just arrived in front of me and was standing in front of me and moving its mouth like it was yelling, looking at me. And then it shifted, and I couldn't hear what it was saying, but it looked angry and it was yelling, and it wanted me to feel fear. I felt like it changed then though to a look of sorrow, and it's like it wanted you to feel pitiful for it. And so that left me, but that did come to me, and there was something else I felt like, but we'll just go ahead and jump into the messages. Oh, also I have my window open as well, so that's also something that's unusual for me, or I guess is unusual for the season. The season's turning over, and that's sort of the energy of this too, is something is turning over, and something is freshening, and also there's space for new. So I started pulling cards. We have already okay, this is quite extensive, but I went through with my pendulum all of my decks and was like, Spirit, do you have messages for me from this deck, from this deck, from this deck? Yes or no? Okay, I went through all of them. We have approximately 15 decks to get through, but the energy was powerful. Okay, messages need to get out today, so let's go ahead and jump in. I've already got our first cards pulled before we started. On the bottom of this deck, okay, we're just going to go over everything together and unpack everything together. This is so exciting. But okay, so on the bottom of this deck, we have Royal Portrait. I struggled a bit to say that R there, and it reminded me of a conversation I had with a friend this morning about having a speech impediment as a child. So I don't know if that is relevant to you, or just maybe a sign or a confirmation. But this card reads legacy, identity, honor. In the royal portrait, your essence is captured for eternity. Honor your lineage and remember the greatness that flows through your veins. The angel number on this card is 22, representing mastery and building a solid foundation. Step into your power and fulfill your purpose with grace and dignity. Okay, so we have some heavy messages to get through here. We have just immediately the cards are court jester, dragon, fountain, and harp. Okay, so dragon symbology, angel symbology. The message here for court jester is that a lesson has been learned and there's a perspective has been gained, and there's maybe it was a heavy perspective, and it's a reminder to like have humor though. The key words on this card are humor, perspective, hidden power, or wisdom. The quote is, behind the laughter of the court jester lies sharp insight. Sometimes the greatest truths are unspoken. Sometimes the greatest truths are spoken in jest, cloaked in smiles and folly. The angel number on this card is 3, signifying creativity and communication. See humor in life's challenges and find wisdom in unexpected places. For dragon, we have strength, protection, fortune. Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. The angel number here is 6868. You've worked hard and achieved abundance. Enjoy the rewards of your labor. For fountain, the keywords are abundance, renewal, flow. The quote here is, within the enchanted fountain, the waters of the realm flow with magic and promise. Drink deeply, for it bestows the gifts of renewal and endless dreams. Within the So it's like, whoa. Something is telling you, to take the step into something magical. Something that would be magical for you. You know what this magic is. And you have fear, perhaps, if you haven't already stepped into it, to step into it. You need to step into it. Everything will be okay. Have faith. Trust. Trust that everything will work in your favor and spirit has you, remember the connection you've created with spirit and trust in that connection. Sometimes fear can be because, connection with spirit is like very mystical and it's not and always, it's hardly tangible. So it's very mystical and it's like, you can lose grip of it. So just remember the connection you've established and trust in that connection. Trust that you can reach for your magic and reach it safely. Get your foot on the other side of the bank. The angel number on this card is 7, representing spiritual growth and abundance. Trust the process and flow with the changes in your life. Your life path number and your lucky numbers, the energy of your life path and lucky numbers are heavily surrounding you right now. So your divine path is right, it's not in front of you, you're on it. It's asking for you to take the step on this path. For harp, we have harmony, inspiration, healing. The harp strings sing the melodies of the heart, weaving harmony into the fabric of your life. Let its music guide you to inner peace and inspiration. You know, I was feeling really called to before I came into this reading, and like when I picked up on this energy, I was just going to do like a personal reading for myself and you know, see what this energy is about, unpack this energy. But then as I was unpacking it, I was like, wow, this is like coming out really strongly. I need to like let's process this together. And as I was going into that, just as a solo act though, I was really called to pop on like angel, you know, frequencies. So maybe right now you're being called to listen to like frequencies, or be more like selective about the frequencies that you choose to have in your life. The angel number on this card, if I didn't already say, is 528, representing transformation and healing. Embrace change and find harmony via healing. Self-healing and self-help is like a really strong initiative. If for those who are here, you need to engage in more. Whatever acts you're doing, they're helping, but you are like a sponge right now, and you're like, you are wanting to soak up all the nourishment you can right now. It's really important for like your path that healing happens. Okay, so let's unpack like our next deck. We'll just go to this one's calling me, so we'll just pop it out. Okay. Okay, we will just unpack all of this. I told you guys today is going to be a heavier reading. It's going to be longer, but it's going to be very deep. So on the bottom of this deck, we have the crisis figure, the Tower, a relative who brings unexpected upheaval or major life changes. So you may be going through a familial, domestic, or otherwise an intimate scenario where you and someone else is really close. There's major changes happening, major life changes happening. We have come out of this deck, though, the strategic planner, Seven of Swords, a relative known for their clever strategies and plans. The restricted relative, a family member feeling trapped or limited in their situation. So we have two people here. It says the loving couple, Two of Cups, a pair of family members or friends with a deep supporting relationship. The cautious saver, Four of Pentacles, a relative known for their financial prudence and savings. Okay. So this relationship is, it's one that maybe has made dreams and nightmares come true, and you guys have slayed dragons together. We have the joyful child, the sun, like S-U-N. A young relative who brings light, happiness, and positivity to the family. We also have the sharp-witted ant, Queen of Swords, an ant known for her intellect and clarity of thought. The authoritative leader, King of Swords, a father or mentor figure who leads with intellectual authority. The generous supporter, Six of Pentacles, a friend or relative known for their generosity and support. Seven of Pentacles, a family member who takes a long-term approach to growth and investments. And the guiding elder, the Hierophant, an elderly relative who shares traditional wisdom and values. You know, earlier we talked about frequencies and your life path and angel numbers, or like your lucky numbers are supporting you and like surrounding you at this moment very heavily. And like I'm getting as well that your ancestors, the spirit and energy of your ancestors is really around you. They may even be like guiding this heavy transition that you're going through, or like supporting you, maybe giving you signs of like affirmations, or like signs of where to go or the actions to take, or, you know, just communicating with you or showing their support, showing you love, giving you feelings of support and warmth. Maybe if you felt like really alone, they may come in to like, you know, make you feel like you're hugged or kissed, or just a warm embrace, or just anything. They may make you just feel supported. Okay, so jumping into our next deck. Okay, and I just heard very funnily, I don't know why. Okay, and guys, don't judge my singing. But I just heard, you say, I only hear when I want to. Okay, let's hear what Spirit wants to say from this deck. I was going to shuffle off camera, but we heard the song come through, so we're just going to be on camera together. Spirit, what do you have to tell us from this deck? What do you have to tell us? Okay. Okay. We have quite, those came out a little crazy, and as I was picking up my cards actually, so we have, what did I just say? We came into this deck talking about spirit support. Okay, support from spirit, support from your angels. This is a deck, I'm not going to show you guys the deck because I need to like create this and whatnot, but okay, this is a deck, like messages from spirit, and the bottom of the deck, okay, sorry about that. Support 44. You are supported by the divine realm. Okay, so we had come out of this deck, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but as I was picking up the cards off the floor that flew out, there was like a bird fight happening outside of my front yard. Okay. Okay, so lots of eights, 9s, 0s, 1s, 7s, 5s. Okay, let's unpack these. Financial blessings, 88. Abundance is flowing your way. We have endings, 99. A cycle is closing. Prepare for new beginnings. Fresh start, 101. A new beginning is here. Step forward with faith. What was I telling you earlier? Your path isn't ahead of you. It's not, it's here. You're on your path. Your feet are on the dirt path. It's asking you to take the step forward. Have faith. Trust that the support is there. Remember all the connections you made. Remember that spirit, the connection to spirit is very mystical. Okay, so when you're feeling insecure about your connection to spirit, remember that. Because, I think the mysticality of it almost can instill insecurity, especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning. If you're at the beginning of your spiritual journey and you've been alone on that journey and you're figuring it out on your own. Okay. We have abundance, 1818. Financial and personal growth is near. Divine presence. You are connected to source. Embrace the infinite. Miracles, 77. Expect miracles. Divine blessings are near. That's another message that's like really been coming through recently. Okay, is that miracles are possible. Miracles are possible. Believe in them. And like one is actually around the corner for you. Something that you believe is unbelievable is about to happen. Duality of change, 1515. Change is bringing both challenges and blessings. You know, change isn't easy. And just like we talked about, you know, earlier, like when you're doing your best to connect to spirit and stuff, especially in the early beginning, you know, you can easily lose that connection because it's so like intangible at times, or I mean most of the time it is. There's hardly anything physical to it, you know. And it's funny to say there's hardly anything physical to it because like every physical thing is nothing but a manifestation of it. But you know, even yet it's still so difficult to interact with it and communicate with it, spirit. We have Archangel Orifiel, solitude. In solitude you'll find clarity. Seek quiet wisdom. What I was getting at though there is like fear can come from just like not knowing, and that, you know, fear can make change difficult. And just know you are supported, divinely guided, and on the right path. You're on your path. And all you have to do right now, actually, okay, because I think you're well past surrendering, all you have to do is have faith that you can take, you know, your next step, because you can. We have here next alignment of purpose, 1122. You are aligned with your higher purpose. Keep going. Abundance. Oh, okay, so we went through those. And you know what? I think you, you know, continuing to align with your higher purpose and taking that step, keeping going, that is going to connect you to your abundance. Okay, and this next deck is actually the very first deck when I was like, okay, I need to like get some messages because this is feeling, you know, intense. This is the deck that I actually like first looked at. I think this is a very powerfully concise message that needed to come through this deck. Parrot, air, express your truth clearly and with confidence. On the bottom of this deck, we have Vakita, water. Value the fragility of life and your role within it. Life is very meaningful. Your life is very meaningful. You know, make sure every second of it is spent intentionally, in the, you know, it doesn't have to be so serious, but it's like intentionally in the way that it's like, it's what you want. It's what you truly want. If you're in a situation that you don't want, but you're not making change, you're actually signaling out to the universe you do want that. So make sure what you are signaling to the universe is, you know, your wishes. Make sure you're making the wishes, you know, that you want to come true. Make sure you are waving your wand correctly. If you're waving it in the opposite direction, you know, it's going to go in the opposite direction. Don't want to get too much into that, but, you know, we want to focus on actually where you're going. And it's interesting because I actually just picked up a deck, you know, inspiring people from history. So I think, you know, you may be you may be like destined for greatness. You may be destined to inspire the masses. You may have some like really important purpose that needs to be fulfilled, but before you can get there, you need to you know, have faith that you can take those steps. If you're not taking the steps, you won't get there. You're on the path though. You know, I don't mean to say that to instill fear. I just mean to say well, let's unpack the cards here, and then hopefully the message will be totally clear for you. So we have Vlad the Impaler, the fearsome protector. Fear, power, revenge. Control through fear is dangerous. Strength and defense are necessary. Brutality breeds enemies. Blood red cape, wooden stake, castle. So we have that figure, as well as Vincent van Gogh, the misunderstood genius. Vision, emotion, perseverance. Great art is often born from struggle. You may be an artist yourself. You know, I may have like a lot of creatives here in watching this. Your perspective is unique and valuable. Isolation can deepen suffering. You know, I think this message is about bringing those who are in isolation out of isolation. Starry night, sunflowers, ear bandage. Okay, and just real fast. Earlier, okay. Let me see. Okay. I was super called to a deck earlier. Let me grab that real fast. Okay, so earlier when I was like going through with my pendulum, and I was like, should I use this deck, this deck, this deck? Do you want to speak to me through this? I don't know why I went through that so many times. Like, you got it, but I have this deck. It was like speaking to me, but it's got like a sunflower on it. And on the Vincent van Gogh card, one of the keywords was sunflower. So let's just see what needs to come out. This deck has a message on it that, well, a quote. It says, each soul is a universe divine in its own right. So let's just see what needs to come out from this. Okay, good lord. You know, interesting. You know, I didn't want to take all these. I didn't want to. But let's just make this like a 75-hour-long tarot reading, okay? So on the bottom of the deck, the reason I decided to take all these is because I see half of the stack is upright, half of it is underturned. So I'm like, okay, obviously the complexities here are going to be juicier, so I expect. So, okay, let me take a sip of coffee, y'all. We have on the bottom of the deck, the healer represents gentle hands, emitting light, or that's the representation. The symbolism here is restoration, nurturing, keywords, recovery, vitality, symbols. Caduceus? I'm not sure how to say that. Healing herbs, tree of life, animals, snake, aloe. And you know what? I often pull the tree of life charm. So that just reminded me, okay, oh my gosh, sorry y'all, I just grabbed that out of that drawer like I had a claw. Okay, sorry about that. I often pull the Tree of Life charm. So, 30/30 on my timer as I say that. Let me pull some charms later. And you know what? Let me see what 30/30 means for us real fast. Oh, 30/30 30/30 is a gun apparently. 30/30 Winchester. A lever action rifle in 1895. Maybe that's significant to you. I often accidentally like don't type the full search, so like other stuff comes up. But angel number 30 reminds you to trust in the divine plan and have faith that everything is unfolding as it should. This number encourages you to do things that you know are good, that you know you are good at, and you enjoy doing. Always go for what you want in life. And there may be a message here because I misspoke there and said always do things that are good. Maybe there is something you know you should be doing that is like just or right, and you're not doing it and you're holding back. You have your reasons. Whatever. So, Spirit is telling you to do the just thing. So we have the Lover here, not the lovers. I just noticed the Lover. And it says the representation is embracing figures in dove, symbolism being love, harmony, affection, connection, heart, locket, butterfly, rose, animals being dove, and plants being rose. The Philosopher, the Smith. Let's just go through these real fast. The Artisan, the Protector, the Shadow, and then reverse we have the Father, the Sun, S-U-N, the Storm, and the Trickster. So on the Philosopher we have deity with scrolls and books, wisdom. Ooh, so I'm getting, there's a lot of like balance here in twos, and I'm noticing now the universe is literally crazy. Okay, and 3333 on our timer as we say this. Okay, and let's just look up what 3333 means. All right, and the reason 3333 is crazy outside of the synchronicity is because I was just going to go into how we're talking about doubles and mirroring, and I think that you may be going through like a twin flame or a karmic situation here. But like all your angel numbers, 77, 88, 44, 99. Okay, 101, 1122, 1818. Okay, like all your numbers are like they're doubling, and like there's two figures here that are like developing out. And in this stack there's an upright stack and a reverse stack. And I'm feeling like this may be like a karmic scenario. It could be a twin flame scenario potentially, but I feel like this is a karmic scenario. Okay. And you're a deity. You're a deity with scrolls and books. You're represented by wisdom in inquiring, knowledge, thought, scrolls, candle, owl, olive tree. Owls may actually be a spirit animal that is like guiding you right now and supporting you. And you may be seeing owls a lot and hearing owls a lot. And you may even be seeing owls like peripherally or like indirectly, like in something, like in the pattern of something, or stuff like that. The smith, deity. Again, you're a deity. This is double confirmation. Deity, the artisan, deity, warrior, deity. Like, you are through and through a goddess, a god, and a warrior. Okay, you're strong, but you're holy. So for smith, we have deity hammering at an anvil. Okay, you're working. Craft, creation, skill, craftsmanship, hammer, forge, wool, ironwood. Okay, you're working away at something. Artisan, deity painting or sculpting. Creativity, expression, artistry, innovation, paintbrush, easel, peacock, and poppy. Peacock is also another animal that may be speaking to you through symbolism right now, as well as poppy. The poppy flower may be significant to you. The protector, warrior with shield, defense, safeguarding, security, strength, guardian lion, labyrinth, fortress, lion, and holly. And you know, it's interesting because when these cards came up, I was feeling like those are you. And when this card, before I even started reading it, the protector card, I was like, I feel like this is your spirits. Like your angels, your ancestors, your guides, your guardians. And you have like a lion. You may have directly, if you like, you may know about it, or you may not know about it, but you have a lion like guardian angel in spirit animal. Okay, they're like guiding you to have like courage and strength in this moment. They're assisting you in having courage, and also they're protecting you. And then shadow, the shadow, deity cloaked in darkness, hidden aspects, mystery, unknown, subconscious, mirror, mask, bat, nightshade. You may be someone who is a night owl, and there comes the owl symbolism again. But I'm getting, you know, there's aspects of you that are hidden from others. There's aspects of you that are hidden from yourself. And it's because it's supposed to become unraveled or like open up in divine timing at the right time. You know, it's supposed to be triggered into an opening. Okay, and I'm getting called to that one plant that's like really rare, and it opens like one day a year, or it's like every 8 years it opens one time for this many hours, and tourists from all over the world come to see it, and it has like a particular smell. I think it's actually really stinky. So like you know, this may be a cycle that's coming around. That's a really long cycle. 3818 on my timer as I say that. And I think I was meaning to look up 3333 actually earlier as well. 3818, we'll look up that too. You know, this is like a really long cycle though, that I forget where we were going with that, but like it's like you know, it's a long, oh, okay, I remember. It's a long cycle. Like it may be like every 8 years or something, or it's really long. Okay, really, really long. And 8 may just be symbolic of the fact that it's a really long cycle, and it's the cycle is like transformative, and there's like death and rebirth and mystery, and there might be sex involved, and the other thing is in this darkness, there might be a lot of subconscious elements of this process involved. Like you guys, the people involved need to like swim into their subconscious waters a lot, you know, really dive deep to get through this cycle. Okay. And this card is literally called the shadow. So it's like, this cycle may be, you know, completed by doing shadow work. Okay. But you are like being protected. You need to realize like the strength that you already possess, because that will give you courage. But if you don't already, things will happen along the way to wake you up to that. Okay, so don't like sit here and be like, I'm not at the right time, I'm not at the right place, and like, no, that's not what this message is about. You're actually at the right place at the right time, and if you haven't realized yet the things you need to, you will. Okay, but you also need to remember there comes there's like two things, okay? There's two things happening here. There's like everything can, all the doors can open for you, but you have to walk through it, okay? And again, don't sit there in like fear and anxiety at that statement. You need to trust. This is all about trust. This is really a process of trust. You trusting yourself, you trusting your connection to spirit. And like, so you need to trust, look at your track record, you know, all the things you can trust yourself for so far. So trust yourself going forward. So, we have in reverse, we have the Father, represented by a powerful deity with a scepter. Okay, so this person is also like a deity in their own regard, but it's like this person was turned upside down. Okay, so this person, okay, this isn't to say that one person has all the work to do, because everybody has light and shadow within them. Okay, but it's like one person may have been doing the work, and then the other person may have been like turned away from doing the work. Okay, so the person who is turned away from doing the work, and so for you can probably assume it's the person who's not watching this. So you're the person who did do the work. Okay, you're here doing the work. This is kind of part of the work, really, and I'm sure. And so the symbolism here is authority, guidance, authority, protection. Symbols being scepter, mountain, animals being lion, plants being oak. So if you think about oak, sturdy structure, foundation, solid, it's often used to build houses. You know, and this card was reversed. In lion, coming back to your spirit guide and animal, like your totem right now, your spirit animal, your just your guide right now is a lion. You're working with a lioness. If you didn't know, you're working with a lioness, okay? And it's like this figure that was, this is definitely a karmic cycle and a karmic figure, because it's like this figure was brought into your life in the reverse role, and they are the reverse lion, and you are being asked to, they're here to show you what the reverse lion is, so that you can understand and know and witness and see and be the lion in the upright position. Okay, it's this situation is wanting you to realize what the lion is, so that you can be the lion. You already are the lion, you just don't see it. So it's wanting you to become witness to yourself. Okay, and then we also have the sun in reverse. So radiant deity, sunflowers. So this figure, this is definitely a twin. This is a karmic. This is a karmic relationship that presented itself as a twin flame. They often do. They mimic each other very much, and it's interesting because the symbolism here, the representation is sunflower. Okay, you are Vincent van Gogh. They are who were they? They were Vlad the Impaler. Was that who? Yes. You're Vincent van Gogh. The keyword on you was sunflower. I pulled from this deck because sunflower, okay? They presented themselves in the very beginning as sunflower. You thought, this is one of my own. You're very pulled to this person in that sense. And there may have been like you felt like you were on top of the world. Everything was clicking. You were with one of your own. The symbolism here is vitality, enlightenment. You may have been like, you may have felt like that was your blooming. But it was a false blooming. A blooming onion, I'm hearing. But onions have layers, okay? And we've been kind of unpacking this on my channel. It's like onions have layers, and again, though, the layered thing that's stinky. Like, change is difficult. And it's like, but the blooming onion is delicious. Okay, the blooming onion is delicious to eat. So it's like the change that comes from this is going to be delicious. Okay, and we have radiant deity, sunflowers, vitality, enlightenment, energy, joy, sunburst, soaring eagle, animals being rooster, plants being sunflower. And rooster is actually one of the things that I call my cat. The first, like, cat that I've ever really had. I like begged my dad for him, and he's a Manx. He was the only one in his litter though without like his tail all the way. The other ones had like half tails and stuff, and I call him Rooster. So during this but his name is actually Lieutenant Dan, and like during this time though, you may have been supported or felt supported by an animal you have, or like you know, had an animal that you felt really comforted by. Comforted. That animal is part of your like is one of your own. They are a sunflower. And then we also have the storm. Lightning, wielded deity, change, power, transformation, upheaval, thunderbolt, whirlwind, eagle, willow. The storm is meant to be, you know, positive. It's supposed to be like a tower moment, you know, and we're, you know, just going again on change is difficult and yada yada, that whole line. You know, I think the storm, it did happen. The towers did happen in this connection, but it's like there was a lot of destructive, unnecessary tower, not just productive, utilitarian storms. You know, like there wasn't much utility all the time to every storm for both parties. So on the last card we have here is Trickster. Representation, mischievous figure juggling. Humor, unpredictability, playfulness, spontaneity. Symbols being jester's hat, rainbow, and cat. Animals being cat. Plant being marigold. You know, you may have been like, you may have had like in a fantasy or fantastical, magical illusion about this figure that once you met them, you know, especially, I'm getting the image of like, especially once you saw them as a sunflower, like just, it seemed like the sunset was setting upon them, like they were glowing, okay? Like it seemed like there was magical, like the sparkle emoji, like just everywhere on them, okay? Like they were sparkling. But it's like, in truth, in all truthfulness though, they were juggling and being rather mischievous, and there was an element of unpredictability in on your end, then anxiousness, and you know, they were playing about with something that for you was rather serious. And yeah, so let's jump into our next decks. Okay. This is becoming quite long already. We have 9 more decks to get through, but we are just going to take our sweet little Mary. I just noticed the wrong cards are in here. I believe, yeah. We have 2 cards from a different deck. Okapi or Okipi, Earth, move gracefully in the shadows. You know, I told you earlier, you are moving in the shadows, and there's like a lot that's hidden from you of yourself, and hidden from you, you know, about you to them. You know, everything about you, or not everything. There's a lot that's hidden about you to yourself and to them, and about this situation. And like, it's meant to be because you're supposed to uncover it. Because uncovering it is what will like unravel the thread that's like keeping you, you know, tied up. Okay, so as you unravel this, it's unraveling like, you know, the thread. And we have Leopard. Pursue your goals quietly but with relentless focus. Okay, so we had some more messages fly out. I actually picked up like the first set of cards that flew out because it was a huge deck, and I was like, let's get some more concise messages. And then another huge deck flew out, so we will just unpack what those have to say. But on the bottom of this deck, we have Moon in Gemini. So Moon is emotions, how we feel, and Gemini would be emotionally adaptable, curious, communicative, and restless. Okay, so you're wanting to communicate, you're sort of restless to communicate. Okay, on exposing itself, we have Black Moon Lilith in Leo. This is representing primal instincts and untamed qualities, creative self-expression, pride, and defiance. Okay, Black Moon Leo, you're being asked to have the courage to express yourself, to be creative, to express yourself creatively, to have pride, and to defy. Okay, you're being asked to defy something. Turned over. Okay, so this may be some of the things that are maybe hidden, or you're not looking at, or maybe they aren't exposed, or maybe these are like keys to the shadows of this Black Moon Lilith in Leo energy. We have, this is supposed to say Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, but it reads Black Mirror Lilith in Scorpio. I don't know, Black mirrors are often used for scrying, but I know also there's the show Black Mirror. It's like a dystopian sci-fi, really. So it's like something about you is here to pull the future forward, pull it to the now, but something is unbalanced. But this Black Mirror Lilith in Scorpio card reads, it's about primal instincts and untamed qualities. Again, this Black Moon Lilith. Scorpio, though, deals with power, transformation, and hidden desires. So there's something, hidden. There's something that you are meant to defy. There's something hidden within you that you're meant to bring out. It's going to be a defiance. It's going to be in defiance of something. And we have, okay, that was just, yes, Descendant in Taurus. So Descendant in Taurus upside down. Descendant deals with relationships and partnerships. Taurus deals with stability, loyalty, sensuality. So in this relationship, there's been instability, there's been disloyalty, and there's been lust over love. There's been, seeing a person for, what they have to offer primarily on the surface. Okay, so upright though, we have Venus in Gemini and Venus in Cancer. So Venus deals with love and relationships. Gemini is witty, communicative, adaptable, curious. Cancer is nurturing, protective, emotional, loyal. So this relationship, it's something that stimulates the mind. It's something that's adventurous, or maybe really open to things, or curious, okay? And it's very emotionally bonded. And I forget where this card is. I was just looking for it. But there was a card that we pulled earlier about, like, this connection being very strong, emotionally strong. And then we have Chiron in Aries. And this is interesting because, I'm being reminded of my Saturn return. Okay, which is supposedly, like, due to begin within, like, the next month or so. And, but what's interesting though is this reads Chiron in Aries, and then my Saturn return is in Aries, in the 5th house. And this whole reading is about, like, self-expression, something about expressing yourself, something coming to the surface, coming to light, like literally coming to light. It needs to come out. Okay. Chiron deals with healing and wounds. Aries, the wound is self-worth, fear of asserting oneself, and identity struggles. You may really struggle with, like, being a soul entity, feeling safe as an entity upon yourself, like feeling safe being an individual. Okay, that may make you feel, like, really insecure, like you don't have security, you don't feel safe being just an entity alone. So, like, you may often absorb the personalities of your friends, or, like, because it makes you feel safe, you know, because it tells you they find you familiar and stuff like that. So that may be something that you have struggled with, is like personality absorption and not totally expressing yourself, not totally embodying all the way to the surface of your skin, like letting your spirit sit in within yourself all the way out to the surface of your skin and beyond that, even, you know, take up space. This is healed though via courage, your lion, remembering you are being assisted by the lion, the spirit of the lion, okay? Any god and deity to do with the lion. So healing of this self-worth, fear of asserting oneself, identity struggles, this Chiron and Aries wound, healing happens via courage, self-assertion, and embracing independence. Okay, moving into our next deck, messages from music. Okay. We have Space Girl by Francis Forever, Paranoia Party. Space Girl, the only way that we'd end was if you were sucked into a black hole, but I'd still spend my days dreaming about you. Tell me how to stop dreaming about you. This is 101%. And what's interesting is I remember getting 101 as one of your angel numbers. And let's go back to see what that angel number had to say. Oh, ugh. Okay. So I was going to say, this is 101% a karmic relationship. Okay. Because despite the struggles that this relationship has seen, it's difficult to leave. Okay. And this 101 card, as I was saying, you're 101% in a karmic relationship. This 101 card reads fresh start. A new beginning is here. Step forward with faith. On the bottom of the deck, we have Find an Island by Benny. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Stella and Steve is the album that's on. If our own mistakes are too much to take, if this just won't work and we can't find a way, maybe our maps go different ways. Find an island far away from me, a shipwreck lost at sea, where nobody goes, no search party, nobody knows but me. You know, this is interesting. I'm getting cold chills as I read the end of that card. My gosh. You know, I just want you to know that everything is going to be okay on the flip side of this. That is coming through. Everything is going to be okay on the flip side of this. 5844, as I read that, as I say that, I read that on my timer. Okay, so we have Benny here, and what I'm being called to here is, earlier we were telling you that any answers you need, they're going to come to you in solitude. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the answer you need is to have courage and take your step. Okay? You're going to be looking for answers because you may have fear and you may have anxiety about having courage and taking that step, but that is the action you need to take. And that reminds me, I was going to talk to you guys earlier about the doors can open. Okay? All the doors can open. And that's the, you know, that's fate and that's destiny and that's divine. But outside of divinity and outside of fate is free will. Okay? So, you know, you still have to take the action. And I remember saying, you know, I got kind of sidetracked and I was like, don't be fearful of me telling you, you still have free will, because I know you're going to sit there and be like, I'm feeling you be like, am I going to do it? Am I gonna take the step? Like, okay, that's why I got into earlier, like, you need to trust yourself. Like, look back to all the steps that you've taken in the past, all the things that you've wanted to do in the past that you've had discipline on. Okay, so trust yourself. And if you haven't had discipline, then make the discipline. Or, you know, that anxiety probably isn't anxiety, it's justified worry. getting into our next deck, let's see what Spirit has to say for us from here. Oh, but what I was going to say about Find an Island, you know, by Benny. Again, Stella and Steve, another, like, you know, duo. And what I was going to say, though, is, you know, this is, like, definitely, like, you can read the lyrics of that song on your own if you want, but this passage specifically is, and right underneath that, Stop Thinking About Me by Alfie Templeton. Bouquet beats. Why do I sit here and keep you off my mind? Try not to fantasize. Look into your eyes because they're full of lies. And, you know, it's like in a twin flame or in a karmic connection, which is what this is. It's a karmic, you know, they often imitate twin flames. But you're meant to learn the lesson and then detach from them, you know, romantically. You're not supposed to remain committed to the karmic relationship in a romantic sense. The thing that's interesting about this is, like, despite all the struggles and stuff, it still remains difficult to leave. And, like, in these lyrics, it's like, you know, it's not working, so let's go find an island far away from me. And it's one no one can find except for me. You know, it's like I don't want to be here, but I also you know, this isn't working and I don't want to be in it, but I also don't want to be away, I guess, or I don't want to not know where you are. You know, it's like you don't want to be apart from this person, but you don't want to be together. So we have on the bottom of this deck Lemon Balm, also known as Melissa or Bee Balm. Sympathy thrives best with constant moisture. You know, that can also be symbolic of, like, thrives best with constant emotional, you know, emotional nourishment. Comfort and healing. Enjoys embroidery. Enjoys bright light, symbolizing warmth of empathy and connection. Often cultivated for its fragrant leaves, heart-shaped leaves with lemony scent, with white, yellow small blooms. Beware of overextension, potential for burnout. This is, you know, making me think of, especially with the white, yellow small blooms and the lemony scent and the heart-shaped leaves, we are cleaning out the heart space, okay? We also have here Red Dragon, and Dragon was a figure that came out earlier. We discussed Dragon earlier. I believe it was with, like, the Princessy deck, like when we discussed Royal Portrait and Fountain, perhaps. But Red Dragon, also known as Red Dragon Plant or Red Velvet, represents admiration, nod to recipients, and distinctiveness. Likes nurturing rains that follow a fierce storm. Strength, courage, transformation. Large glossy leaves with red veins. Tubular flowers that resemble flames. Be attentive to others' needs and respect boundaries. Beware of hidden fierceness. You know, I think they need to, I think you've had your boundaries disrespected, and you're not being attended. Your partner or the person in this situation hasn't been attentive to your needs. And we'll just keep going, okay? I wasn't going to plan on shuffling on camera, but because it adds some time. But you know what? I kind of like adding the shuffle on camera because then it captures everything. So sorry about the gaps and, you know, sound on occasion, but we're going to keep it today. You know what, though? You can just enjoy the relaxing space. I think there is, like, a message to maybe relearn how to relax is coming through for sure. Oh, some of those got kind of lopsided. And the thing that got lopsided was Harbor, I saw. So, I mean, there's not much to say about that. Your safe haven may have been, you know, lopsided. Okay, yes, it's a giant stack. Yes, we're gonna keep it. Do we really want to, though? My goodness. Okay, let me look at like this one and see how deep are we in. Okay, I'll just read them. We're here. We have boy guidance, direction, safe passage, guidance, warning of dangers, staying afloat. First card is Sand Dollar, faith, spiritual evolution. This is your journey right now. Serenity, divine guidance, balance, connection to the divine. Realize the connection you've established. Trust the connection. Seaweed, flexibility, nourishment. Growth, adaptability, hidden strength, and nourishment. This journey for you is about realizing the strength within yourself, okay? And then embodying that strength. Embodying that strength will get you to the other side, okay? And just know that everything is okay, okay? You are protected. Seahorse carousel, nostalgia, the cycle of life, childhood memories, cycle of life, joy in the moment, repetitive patterns. You're in a cycle to be broken. And part of this cycle is thinking back to maybe times when you felt like things were okay, but you know, I think there's meaning to why you repeat these memories. They're almost played, and I'm getting like the sounds that you hear whenever you like click on those like old film reels, and then it starts playing and like all the staticky sounds, but like the button click, and it's like you're replaying these memories to like search for something. I think you're part of you, you're idly standing in your path is and you replaying these memories while you're standing there, not taking this first step, while you're searching for like courage, or you're like waiting to embody courage, or you're like waiting to be given courage rather. And while you're doing that, okay, you're like replaying these memories, and you're searching for answers there. You're searching for courage even, and you're searching for maybe reasons. You're searching for like pieces that would turn your harbor back up right as well. We have whirlpool, spiraling emotions, inescapable forces. But okay, so the point that I'm getting to though, but is I don't think you're gonna find anything though. It's an inherent part of the process, you searching there, and you may be searching there partly for comfort. You're searching there for comfort because it allows you to stay idle, searching there for comfort because memories of the past make you feel good. You know, there's a lot of reasons. Whirlpool, spiraling emotions, inescapable forces. There's no choice but to face, this thing you're facing. Being pulled into emotional currents, surrendering to the inevitable. Intense focus and transformation. You know, I just got the image of like a storm that is happening to like a huge ship out in the middle of the sea. Like one of those videos where it's like, okay, I'm hearing like a tone. I don't understand what it is or where it's coming from, but like a large ship out in the middle of the ocean. It's like it itself is giant, but it's like the ocean is swallowing it up. It's like a storm like that, and it's like that's what this situation is. And it would be like turning away from that situation would be like if you went into a cabin and just shut the door and just pretended like you weren't violently being tossed around the cabin. So, you know, there's not much of an option but to face this. You know, you're being forced to face it. We have Mermaid's Necklace, connection to the divine in nature, spiritual connection, sacred adornment, linking past to present, honoring tradition. And this is reminding me, you guys, I've been called recently to like share specifically for you to wear a cross necklace. It's like I recently purchased a cross necklace and started wearing it, and it's like everything that I needed to happen started unfolding afterwards. everything that I needed courage for, everything that I needed, you know, I don't know. And it's like, the other day, out of nowhere, you know, I've never read the Bible really, and I'm trying to. Actually, I want to read the Bible. I want to read the Quran. I want to read, you know, I want to read all of those religious texts, because I think there's insight within them. And but anyways, you know, I'm not a super religious person. I never have been, and I don't come from a religious family, or rather religious family. I mean, my parents weren't immediately religious. My mother didn't go to church. She's now more religious than she's ever been. But it's because I think her partner is religious, and my father has never been religious, and grew up religious because his parents were, but even then questioned. And so I've never had that instilled in me, but I have grandparents that were like very dogmatic about it. Okay. So, but not for me. That's never been instilled within me. Okay. I've had to search for everything on my own. And, so that's not been a pattern I've made. But after I put on this necklace, and when I needed strength, I would hear within myself, in Jesus' name I pray, amen. Okay. And like, I would have the courage suddenly. It's insane. But like, I'm being called to tell you, to purchase a cross necklace or a piece of sacred jewelry, even if it doesn't make sense why you're being called to it. Because as I said, I didn't grow up in the church personally, and it doesn't necessarily make logical sense for me to have a cross necklace, and I'm spiritual, not religious. And you know, I wouldn't consider myself to be a Christian, just a light worker. And yeah, don't question what it is that you're being called to, but I am being called to tell you, you know, wear a piece of sacred jewelry. It may have a connection. Wear a piece of jewelry that you're being called to. It doesn't have to be sacred. It doesn't have to be intentionally sacred. It doesn't have to be literally a cross. It can just be a piece of jewelry, but wear jewelry. Keep wearing jewelry. It may, you know, have to do with harnessing energies that you need at the moment. So we have tidal wave, overwhelming emotions and change, major life shifts, emotional overwhelming, destruction and renewal, unstoppable force. Kelp forest, protection, nourishment, shelter, growth, interconnectedness, thriving under pressure. Ocean current, guidance, direction, and I think this is spirit for you. Flow of life, unseen forces, trust in the journey, inevitability. I didn't know that it was going to say unseen forces when I said that, but you know, you everything on you trust. You need to trust yourself more. I think that's trust / faith. Okay, and then courage is like your the intentions of where you're at right now. Okay. Okay, and then we have, you know, and these things accidentally got flipped up. So I think these things these maybe are the things that you're wanting to fear, or you do have fear about, but you don't need to fear. Okay, so we have treacherous waters, risk, danger, caution, hidden threats, navigating challenges, facing fears. Exactly. I didn't know it was going to say that, y'all. I didn't know it was going to say face fears after it said caution, hidden threats, navigating challenges, risk, danger. Everything is telling you, don't do this. Don't take this step. Don't do this. It's not safe for you. You're feeling insecure. Don't do it. Face your fears. Because what is this journey about again? It's about trust. It's about faith. It's about courage. Okay. 11415 on my timer as I say that. Stormy sea, turmoil, challenge, emotional upheaval, trials, testing, strength, eventual calm. Eventual calm. Ocean floor, foundation, grounding, stability, grounding in reality, the base of emotions, support for growth. Okay, connect to reality, connect to your truth, and live in your truth. Live authentically. That's all you need to really worry about. Mermaid's comb, self-care and beauty. Nurturing oneself, self-love, grooming personal power. Nurture yourself. I can definitely feel, you know, this has been rightfully so a very draining scenario probably for you, and so just remember to drink water, eat your favorite snacks, you know, make sure you're bathing and brushing your teeth and brushing your hair. You know, that stuff can go neglected whenever you're going through a lot, and but it's really it can really energize you. Those things that seem like they may take energy may actually give you energy. We have giant clam, protection, secrets, hidden knowledge, self-protection, holding on to inner truths, mystery. So there's, we've been talking a lot about subconscious, hidden elements of you to them, and some truth that you're holding on to that you need to express, and blah, blah, blah. This truth that you're holding on to that you're not expressing will unveil all. Okay, and with harm to none. Moonlit sea, reflection, intuition, emotional depth, introspection, connection to the subconscious, and cycles. So, I'm being called back to you standing and searching, clicking through those memories, replaying those memories. Okay, you're reflecting for comfort instead of switching over to intuition, thinking independently. Okay, you have to have courage to trust your intuition. You have to have courage to have faith and trust your intuition and act on intuition. Instead, though, you're spending time reflecting, which keeps you from doing intuition. Okay, and it's fine to reflect, but know when it's stopping you from listening to yourself, because what you're really doing is avoiding the answer that you already have. You already have the answer. You already have the answer, and you already have the answer because you're afraid of it. Okay, and that's why you need that. Whatever you need to have courage to do, that's what you need to do. Mermaid's harp, music, harmony, creativity, emotional expression through art, harmony in life, soothing energies. Life will feel soothing to you and will be harmonious once you express your truth, okay? Because you will be unified. There will be no aspects to you that are hidden from yourself or the world. We have sea caves here, sanctuary, introspection, safe haven, retreat into self, hidden depths, protection from the outside world. Replaying those memories and stuff may just be habit, because going hermit mode is how you find all your answers, and going hermit mode is how you connect to your intuition. Going into solitude is how you connect to your intuition. So replaying those memories may be on track with what you're supposed to do, but it stops short of it, and it stops short in a comfortable way. Okay, but it stops short in a way that once you're stopping short, you need to acknowledge it, okay? Because otherwise you're playing coy in a way that's self-destructive. But all in due timing. Don't be hard on yourself. Have compassion. Take care of yourself. Be nice to yourself. Anchor, stability, grounding, security, steadfastness, finding your center, holding steady in storms. Harbor, safety, refuge. Sanctuary, rest, recuperation, emotional grounding. And it's interesting that this card is coming out, because this card was coming out sideways earlier while I was shuffling, and I was like, oh, your harbor may have gotten lopsided in this situation. And now, it wanted to come out as a fear. It wanted to come out, it wanted to display itself as a justified fear, and it is coming up as a fear, but it's not justified. You are safe, and you will be safe. You need to have faith and courage. Okay, that's what all this is about. The fear is to stop you from having faith and courage. You're meant to have faith and courage. The fear is the challenge. You're meant to overcome the challenge. Okay, understand all of this. Understand it in an objective sense. Don't be so committed to the fear and victimized by the fear and subjected to the fear. Live outside of it, so you can witness it and then move around it. Mermaid song, allure, deception, temptation, persuasion, the power of voice, duality. Octopus, intelligence, adaptability, resourcefulness, flexibility, multitasking, mystery. Your voice is something that a truth about something that right now is presenting itself in one way, but this truth would actually alter and justify and correct the way it's presenting itself and bring harmony to the way it's presenting itself, your voice is the thing that will do that. That will stop the deception. Okay, and you have the intelligence to realize what it is, the words that you need to say. Okay, you have the intelligence to know this. And just trust that in the words that you don't consciously aren't aware of, you know, the words that you don't know that you'll say, they'll come to you in the moment. Coral representing resilience and community, connection, foundation, collective strength, adaptability. Coral crown. Natural royalty, leadership, authority from nature, leadership with grace, wisdom from the earth, eco-consciousness. You know, I gotta write something down real fast. I'll just write it on my hand because I need this for myself actually. Okay. This is reminding me, like, you may have a connection to Gaia or Mother Earth, and like that may also be a place that's really healing. So get outside, okay? Get outside and don't worry about protecting yourself so much. Go outside without sunscreen, okay? And you know, be fearless. Be fearless. Just go outside without your typical protections, and don't worry about it. Just go outside and enjoy yourself, and soak it in. Soak in the sun. So these things that would have been abrasive and hard and would have cut you and would have made you bleed in the past, you wear, you know, it goes from coral to coral crown. Okay? You wear you wear the things that once pained you proudly. You understand them well. And lastly, we have waterfall, release, cleansing, emotional release, renewal, the power of surrender and natural flow. When we hold on to things that aren't truth, we're resisting the natural flow of life. Okay, you think you're doing a lot of work. You think you have work to do. You think you have work to do to step into the truth and, to step into faith and trust. You think you have work to do to have courage, but you're doing all the work now. Okay, and that's what the illusion is. You're doing all the work now to resist the natural flow of life. Okay. Let's just keep it moving. 33 on the timer. Those slipped right between a hole in my legs. Okay, so we have here the Pharisees, hypocrisy, judgment, empty ritual. Spirituality without love is meaningless. Are you living your truth or just performing it? That's what that card asks. So we have come out. Okay, and that's on the bottom of the deck. So that's the hidden truth to this. You know, you may be doing a performance of something. Saint Benedict, we have discipline, protection, spiritual strength. Establish a foundation of discipline and balance in your life. You are shielded from negativity. Okay, finding routine and disciplining yourself and adding structure to your life, and making that structure and that discipline surround itself around your intentions and what you want. That is going to shield you from the negative aspects of the situation and move you towards your highest timeline, set you towards that in any way that you aren't already. Okay, it'll work to align you. We also have the crescent moon, intuition, mysticism, rebirth. Your intuition is a powerful guide. It's true. Trust the unseen forces working to bring about your spiritual renewal. And I just heard an angel of yours name, and I need to look up kind of type it out a little bit so I can kind of see. All right, you guys. So this okay, so the angel is Archangel Zadkiel, meaning righteousness of God. This angel is a prominent figure in Jewish and Christian angelology, often associated with mercy and forgiveness and the transmutation of negative energy. So, this archangel is helping you alchemize. He is also linked to alchemy and helping individuals transform their energy into positive action. The meaning is God is my righteousness. Okay, so this journey is also about you finding God. He's an angel of mercy, forgiveness, and righteousness. In Jewish mysticism, Zadkiel is connected to the planet Jupiter. Okay, so this is about this process in, you having trust, having faith, and embodying courage. You will meet your expansion, your abundance, your era of luck. Zadkiel is believed to possess superhuman strength. Okay, and we were talking about miracles earlier. Speed and reflexes, and is immortal. He is known for helping people transmute negative energy into positive action, facilitating forgiveness and supporting spiritual growth. His color is violet, associated with the seventh ray, and his twin flame, holy amethyst, is holy amethyst. Zadkiel is also known as Hazdiel. He's known as the angel of mercy. He motivates people to pray. So like the thoughts that you have in your internal scape is very important, and like listen to your emotions and address your emotions. So let's see here. Do we have I felt like I had, did I like literally set those back into this? Okay, guys, I don't know where we'll just pull from this again. That's totally cool. That's interesting though. It's like, okay, all I got was like, are you... Okay, and this one's bent. That's never happened. The Alpha and Omega. Okay. Completion, eternal cycle, divine plan. Everything has a beginning and an end. Trust that you are exactly where you are meant to be. The Beatitudes, blessings, humility, and grace. You are blessed in ways you may not yet see. Live humbly and grace will find you. The Talent, prayer, shelter, devotion. Take refuge in sacred practice. Prayer will provide the comfort and guidance you seek. The Dove. If you pray enough, just so you know, if you pray enough, your angels will talk back to you, okay? So maybe that's something you need, you're looking for. The Dove, peace, spirit, promise. A spirit of peace surrounds you. Tree of life, connection, growth, eternity. You are deeply rooted in divine wisdom. You know what your truth is. Live it. Your growth reaches both the heavens and the earth. There isn't a place that, doesn't recognize the changes that you're going through. The 3D, the 5D, spirit, every person in physical around you, they're witnessing it. And Isaiah, hope, vision, and renewal. See beyond the current struggles and trust in a brighter future. Believe miracles can happen. Your hope is a beacon for others. And y'all, we're like winding down now. We're getting down to our last couple of stacks here. And I can't believe I've recorded an 1.5 hour long video here. Oh. Okay, Orchid Mantis, beauty and deception. Appearances can be deceiving. Trust your instincts, your intuition to discern the truth. Rosy Maple Moth, playfulness. Allow your playful spirit to surface and let joy guide you through challenging times. Leaf insect, camouflage. Sometimes it's wise to stay hidden and observe until the right moment to act presents itself. Tarantula hawk. I'm being called to tell you you may need a pendulum to answer yes/no questions, maybe even about timing of something. Leaf insect. Okay, tarantula hawk wasp. Fearlessness. You have the ability to overcome your deepest fears with confidence and courage. Wasp. Assertiveness. Now is the time to assert yourself with clarity and confidence. Speaking of answering questions about timing. Okay, do we want to go through all these? Yes. Praying mantis, discipline. With discipline and focus, you can accomplish your goals. Fire ant, determination. Keep your determination strong and push through challenges. Moth, attraction to light. Seek inner wisdom and avoid being misled by temporary allurements. Don't continue the cycle. Glowworm, guidance. Share your wisdom and shine your light to those who seek help. Remember earlier when I told you that what you have to offer is so important. This is about you getting to a place where you're able to offer what it is you have to offer. But first you have to fully, recognize at least an inkling of what it is that you have to offer. We have cicada, resurrection. Speaking of, a fresh start is upon you now. Allow yourself to rise again with newfound strength. Scarab, rebirth. Embrace the cycles of life, death, and rebirth to emerge stronger. Ant, humility. Humility and service to others will lead you to success. Dragonfly, representing change. Change is coming quickly, and it's time to adapt to it with grace. Grace is, a defining thing that keeps coming through. Grace, grace, grace. Like, don't get so, anticipatory or anxious or anything that it leads to agitation, although some agitation in the circumstance may be divinely guided so that this conflict busts open. But just remember to be self-aware and remember to act in a justified way. So we have ants here representing cooperation. Collaborating with others will amplify your power and potential. Fly representing tenacity. Keep moving forward, even when faced with resistance. And once more, we have scarab. And I'm being called to say, Isis is a personal, spirit guide of mine. And you may have, Egyptian ties spiritually. The scarab this time is representing guidance. You are being led by higher forces. Trust in their guidance. Trust that there is a higher path laid out for you and you are in the right place and you do have a connection to spirit and they are present and, trust all that. Trust. Again, trust. Faith. Courage. Okay. We have exactly 2 more decks after this one to get through. I spaced out there for a second and realized I was spaced back, and then as soon as I realized that the cards came out. But on the bottom of the deck we have fire. Corresponds to wands in the tarot, creativity, passion, and energy, as well as action-oriented aspects of life. So from this deck, we have Nine of Cups, experience emotional satisfaction and contentment. Death, embrace transformation and endings for new beginnings. Tens, completion, achievement, transition. Pages, youthful energy and curiosity, potential for new beginnings associated with their qualities. Hermit, seek solitude for introspection and inner guidance. Two of Pentacles, balance priorities and adapt to change with flexibility. Aces, new beginnings, potential for opportunities. The Empress, nurture creativity and abundance in all aspects of life. Kings, authority, mastery, and a mature, commanding presence of their quality. The qualities of any king. So, King of Water, King of Pentacles, King of Swords. Like, you are embodying just king energy. Earth. And again, we talked about that earlier, like Mother Gaia, or just Gaia and Mother Earth. Earth corresponds to pentacles, material aspects, wealth, practicality, earthly concerns, and nines, culmination, attainment, and fulfillment. This is the energy of, like, you know, this cycle, the point in the cycle that you're in. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, we have T, representing balance of opposing forces and stability. And I am noticing, like, the cross. And I told you earlier, like, about my cross necklace. And I actually have it on now, I think. I'll just show it to you guys. I literally love it. It brings me joy, and, like, it makes me feel safe and protected. And I feel like I'm calling upon it, like, honestly, at this point. And yeah. Symbolizes transformation and higher consciousness, represents spiritual awakening and the manifestation of divinity, a sound that resonates with divine wisdom and enlightenment, divine feminine energy, beginning of creation, life in the cosmic essence, root of all creation, and the sound that brings the universe into being, the energy of compassion and healing. And reversed was spiritual liberation and enlightenment. And so I feel like, you know, right now, in not living your truth, your spirit isn't liberated. And after you do totally live your truth, you will have all weights off of you, be entirely liberated, and living your truth, you will reach a sense of enlightenment. Okay, and I wanted to, from our cards, get any final messages, and this actually isn't a complete deck, so that's interesting, you know. But I wanted to see if there was any final messages Spirit wanted to give us from this before. So we have two. We've been talking a lot about two, duality, and relationships, balance and unbalance. My inner knowledge is my best guide in all. So we have the High Priestess here. Mystery, intuition, inner knowing, self-trust, spiritual insight, emotional stability, divination, esoteric wisdom and knowledge, things yet to be revealed. So we're dealing with those, swimming in those hidden aspects again. Spirit guides, discovering your truth. Okay, and this is difficult because you're waiting for things to be revealed. Oh. Accidentally shuffled our card in there. You're like waiting for your truth, but your truth will be revealed as you unravel these things that are hidden. So it's like you have to do this thing that you don't want to do to get to the thing that you're like waiting to come to you. Okay, it won't necessarily reach you until you do these things that you know you need to do that you're afraid of. So let me pull from that one more time because I accidentally shuffled there. That happens. You know, and I think you will be entering like an era of coziness, Like you, I will say either haven't seen yet or haven't seen in a really long time. Okay, and the final message from Spirit that we have is Six of Pentacles, a card of generosity, a card of the heart space. And just as we were speaking of, comfort and all that, it's a Taurus card. It's a card that's represented by Taurus. I don't know if it'll focus. Come on. But this card, the keywords are gifts, charity, donations, money, community, assistance, support, employment, sharing, kindness, wealth, prosperity, power, control. I didn't mean to say that. Power, authority, control. Authority is separate from control. So maybe the imbalance here is the authority figure, the father figure, the dragon figure, may have been acting out of control rather than authority, and that was the imbalance. But we have investors, giving and receiving, gratitude. So giving and receiving, there's a balance there. And again, the two. So it's like balance is coming, okay? Gratitude being valued and being well paid. And on the bottom of the deck now, we have the Chariot. No obstacles will stop me now. 7, and this is coming back to whatever your life path number is, because for me, 7 is my life path number, my lucky number. It always makes me think 777 very often. Whatever your life path number is, whatever your lucky numbers are and your angel numbers that you work with, they are supporting you at this moment. They are surrounding you. You're on that path. And, you're being supported to take the step. If you're looking for courage, know that it is within you. You may not see it until you may not see it until after. You may not see it so surely until after. Don't wait until the window is, spotless to look through it. Okay, because you can see through the glass before it's spotless. Okay, you know what the answer is. So just have faith. Have faith that what you're seeing through the slightly dirty window or the really dirty window is what you're seeing. Okay, for what it is. The answer is what it is, and you have the answer. You just need to trust and have faith, and have courage. We have victory, overcoming obstacles, success, ambition, determination, willpower, control, self-discipline, hard work, and focus. Coming back to disciplining yourself and adding structure and routine in your life is something that will ultimately get you to that time you're waiting on, okay? The time where you're like, is now the time to do it? This will bring that to you, okay? So discipline, routine, structure, do it. Hard work and focus, triumphant, progress, single-mindedness, mastery, courage, and skill. And behind that, we have success, satisfaction, victory, having the advantage, achievement, praise, acclaim, awards, applause, completion, good news, reward, goodwill, fame, celebrity, fans, well-wishers, supporters, crowds, being in the spotlight, riding high, 6 of Wands. Okay, this is Jupiter, luck, heart space energy still. So we're healing the heart here, and recognition. Okay, this is going to be this is your era of recognition. Like, you may have not had recognition up until this point. Sufficient recognition or recognition at all. Okay, and I'm going to pause for a moment while I do my charms, because they're quite noisy. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back with messages from Spirit. So out of the gate, we had a soccer ball come out. Okay, and y'all, I don't know if this is going to focus for us. Okay, thank goodness. So we had a soccer ball come out. Next, we had a little diamond charm, an anchor, and a rope. And this made me think about, all the ocean and all this, this ocean current and waterfall and siren symbology we were working with earlier. And the need to be grounded and anchor yourself with discipline and structure in this moment, despite whatever your circumstances are. We also had this little bird come out, and I took notice too, despite, there is cut out detail on the head. There's no like black ink etching on the face, and it's like it almost made me feel like there's like a bag over this bird's head. And we pulled this butterfly charm, if it'll... The butterfly charm, interestingly enough, is not wanting to focus. It's like your transformation, you know, there is resistance there, but change is difficult. It isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. There's a lesson to be learned here. Okay. We also pulled a like rose charm. Y'all, I don't even know how I was getting that to focus before. It was just doing its thing. And at the same time, okay, so we pulled out this little sun charm. Okay, now it's just doing it without a backing. Okay. You know, and that makes me feel like, you know, this golden era of yours that's coming up, it's going to be effortless. It's going to be effortless. Trust and believe. Okay, and next, I pulled these out at the same time. We have, you know, there's a star in this crescent moon, and then a little witch on a broom. Okay, and I'm like, there's this hidden aspect that you need to bring to the light. There's the truth within you that you need to bring to light. And there's this little witchiness within you that you need to trust in and believe. Trust that you've had those experiences, okay? They did happen to you. Whatever experiences you've had, believe them. Okay? And next we have, I heard, with this one that I pulled, it's like a little fairy sitting in a star. And I was thinking about Pixar movies, I believe it is, where like that little boy is like fishing off the crescent moon. Maybe you've been really called to like maybe just watching Disney movies, or that opening scene is a confirmation. And I pulled this charm out, a pig with wings and a heart, and I heard flying pigs, and I'm being reminded of like aviation pins. So you may be flying somewhere soon, or traveling, or going international, maybe if not literally, and traveled, and you know, symbolically, like maybe something you do reaches international heights. And I'm also getting just the level of like nourishment that is coming to you on the other side of this. It's like you're going to be wallowing in it. Okay, and I did pull this charm while we were talking, and it is seamlessly and effortlessly focusing over and over again. So it's like your transformation is blinking, buzzing, waiting on you, flapping its wings, you know, it's hovering in place. You are the shooting star if you're here. So I'm gonna leave your messages off here. That was like just wow. We're 2 hours in, and this was a single reading. I hope this reaches you well. I need to take a sip of water. But if you enjoyed this or found it meaningful, don't forget to leave a like and your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe so I can see you again. For now though, bye, and thank you for coming.